Hi, it's Ali from Inspiralized, and today we're in my kitchen and we are making my crusted tuna with sesame tahini cabbage. The spiralized vegetable in this dish is cabbage, and yes, you can spiralize it. It's so much easier than painstakingly slicing a cabbage. And then we're gonna dress it with that lovely sesame tahini, which complements the sesame seed crusted tuna. It seems really fancy, but you could make it really quickly on the weeknight, or if you're impressing guests, it's a really beautiful dish. So to start, we're going to need, of course, a cabbage, and I'm going to use a red cabbage. We're going to need rice wine vinegar, sesame oil, tahini, black and white sesame seeds for that crust, soy sauce, some diced scallions, sesame oil, and then of course we're going to do the tuna steak, and I used about 4 ounces. Last but not least, we're going to need a spiralizer, and of course we're using the Inspiralizer. So now that we have everything ready to go, we are going to spiralize our cabbage. So you're going to grab your cabbage, and the first thing you need to do is just slice off that tough end. And once we do that, it's going to release these outer layers, and you're just going to kind of pull those off and set them aside. They're not as nice as the interior ones, they're not as fresh. Just kind of peel it until you see that bright red color of the cabbage. So now we're going to set this aside and bring out our spiralizer. And the cabbage is going to seem very heavy, but once you load it on, it's going to effortlessly spiralize. So we're just going to secure this. And to spiralize cabbage, you're going to want to use blade A. Blade A is the blade on the spiralizer that slices veggies. So you can apply this to onions and bell peppers and of course cabbage. So I have my cabbage here. I'm going to set this to blade A, and that is the flat ribbon blade. So if you're not using the Inspiralizer, just make sure it's the one that doesn't have any spokes or sharp blades sticking out. So now we're going to secure the cabbage. This side is going to be on a central coring blade. We're going to push that in very carefully, and then you're going to want to push the end here very firmly. So make sure that those teeth are really sticking into the cabbage for best leverage. I'm just going to grab a plate and put that underneath to catch the cabbage. And now all we do is spin the handle. And you're going to see how effortless this is. It's going to be a little messy because we're spiralizing cabbage. We're going to try to catch it all. How much easier is that than slicing a cabbage? And I'm only going to do half of this actually because we only need about 3 to 6 cups. I'm going to go halfway through. I would say that's about 4 to 6 cups. So now that we have this, we are ready to start our recipe. What you're going to want to do is pick out any of the really crunchy bits, which were the end of the cabbage. So you're not going to want those in your dish. So I kind of just pick them out, try to figure out which ones are more red. There's some white on the bottom. It pretty much will just be on the bottom where you spiralized. And of course, you can still eat this and save it. It's just a little crunchy, so I like to keep the nice red bits in there instead. So just a bit. And I'm actually going to transfer this to a large bowl, and then that will be mixed together with our diced scallions. So just finish there. Set my plate aside. This little messy surface here. So now I'm just going to add in my diced scallions, and those are all going to be tossed together with the sesame tahini dressing, which we're going to make right now. I'm going to put that aside again. I'm going to grab myself a bowl, and we're going to be using the tablespoon of sesame oil. We have about a teaspoon of rice wine vinegar, and then this is a 1/4 cup of tahini paste. And you could actually substitute in peanut butter here too. It would be a really nice change up, sort of more of a Thai-inspired dish. I'm gonna use my fingers because I don't have a spoon. And then we're gonna use a teaspoon of soy sauce. And then we have some olive oil. Okay, and then I'm just gonna grab my fork over here and whisk together. And you want it to be a thicker sauce because again, it's gonna go onto that cabbage and you want it to be nice and creamy. Now that our dressing is done, we're going to pour it over that cabbage and scallion mixture. Make sure you get it all in there, okay? And then we're just going to season additionally with a little bit of pepper to give it a bit of a kick. Just a couple cranks. And then take some pasta tongs and just toss it. And you're gonna wanna toss for a pretty good amount of time, maybe 30 seconds or so that all of the cabbage is combined with the tahini, because you again want that creaminess to kind of soften the crunchiness of the cabbage and the scallions. And this is gonna be the base for the tuna, so we're gonna set this tuna on top of the cabbage so that every bite has a nice crunch to it. All right, now that our cabbage is all prepared, we can set that aside and crust our tuna. And we're gonna combine 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds, white, and 1 tablespoon of the black sesame seeds. And as you can see, they're kind of clumped up together, so I really just take my fingers and mix them together. I'm sure there is a better, more professional way to do it, but this works just fine for me. And you're gonna wanna spread it out so that it will cover the entire steak. So just keep that in mind as you're spreading these out. Now we can grab our steak and just put it right on top of the sesame seeds and just press really gently, just so that those seeds will stick to the tuna. And sometimes you can use things like honey to let it adhere better, but this works just fine, and then you don't have to use anything extra. So now you'll see on this side, it's all crusted very beautifully. And if you think there's too many black and you want more white, you want more of a better mixture, you can just yourself press the seeds into the tuna. But I think that looks really good. So again, I'm just gonna move it together, make sure they're all pressed. And then you can just take a little bit off the sides and press them into the sides of the tuna steak to get it all crusted on all the 4 sides. And just kind of eyeball it. If it looks good to you, it's probably good. And now we just need to sear this. So I'm heating a medium skillet over medium-high heat, and I'm gonna add in just a little drizzle of olive oil, and that's just gonna be to sear our tuna. So it's about a half teaspoon or a teaspoon. So you wanna make sure the pan is nice and hot, and then we're just going to carefully add our tuna. And you should hear that crackle. And you wanna be careful because as the tuna cooks, it's gonna toast those sesame seeds and it might smoke up a little bit. And if that happens, it's okay. You can just kind of take the skillet off the heat and let it cook a little slower. So the point here is to sear the tuna. And what that means is we are going to lightly cook it on the bottom and the top. And you basically want the flesh of the tuna to start to turn white, but only about a quarter to a halfway through. And then we're going to flip the tuna and sear it on the other side. So the tuna is going to get cooked very lightly, and if you like well done tuna, you could cook it all the way, but I really recommend you just lightly sear it, and especially a ahi tuna steak, it's better a little bit raw in the middle. We're gonna let this cook about 2 minutes, just sit, do not move it as much as you probably want to, don't move it, let it rest, and then we're gonna flip it. Now we have a really nice sear on that tuna, so I'm gonna flip it over very carefully. And you'll see that it has a nice golden brown color on the top. That's exactly what we want. And you'll see on the sides that it'll start to turn white as it's cooking. So we're gonna let this cook for another 2 minutes on this side, and then we get to slice it and top it on the cabbage. Our tuna is totally cooked. So we're gonna turn off heat. I'm gonna grab my tongs here, and I'm just gonna carefully flip the steak again, put it right here, and I'm going to take my knife. And you're gonna wanna slice it against the way it's going, so kind of against the grain. So once you find that, we're just gonna slice it into little pieces. So about a 1/2 inch strips. And as we cut, you'll see in the middle that it is raw, but on the outside it has that nice sear. And again, if you like it more well done, you could have cooked it a little longer, but this is perfect for me, and I hope perfect for you. Okay. All right, so the sesame seeds are starting to come off a little bit. That's okay. We're gonna toss them on top of the cabbage. So now that our tuna is done and sliced, we wanna serve it immediately. So I'm going to serve myself some cabbage, and you're gonna wanna grab about a cup. So I'm just gonna portion that in. And while you're doing that, make sure you get some scallions in there. But that is gonna be the bed which we're gonna place the tuna on. And now, I'm just gonna grab that tuna, put it on top, present it nice and beautifully like they would in a restaurant, although we're gonna eat this very quick because it's so good. Okay, and that is a full tuna steak over a bed of sesame tahini cabbage. And now for the best part, we're going to taste it. So now we're gonna take a forkful and just get a little bit of tuna and a little bit of that cabbage. This dish is so incredible. The nuttiness from that tahini with the tuna and the savoriness from the toasted sesame seeds, it's unbelievable. And as you can see, really easy to put together. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you love this recipe as much as I do. And as always, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for future alerts when I do more recipes. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.